Well, good evening and welcome to Single Malt Saturday. It's been a long time. Tonight I have a single malt called Jura Journey. Now I've had Jura products before. I've had the Jura Winter Edition and I've had Jura Superstition. I really like that one. The other one's good too. But this is a new one to me. It's called Jura Journey. We should start maybe by talking about Jura itself, the place. Jura is off the western coast of Scotland. It's a small island, 142 square miles. I lived on Prince Edward Island for a while. That was 2190 square miles. So Jura would be about a tenth the size of that. And on Prince Edward Island, you could drive across it in a day from end to end. It would take you the day. But of course, Jura would be a lot easier to drive across. Now, some other things about Jura. It has a population of 200 people. It has one road and one pub and one distillery, Jura. It got its name, it's a Norse name, got it from something meaning the island of the deer, or Deer Island. At that time, or in the early days, they said that there was around 300 deer on the island. That's a lot of deer on a small island. But guess how many there are today? 5,500, apparently. That would be about 27.5 deer per person. Yeah. So I'm trying to think about this now. One pub. So you go to the pub, you're going to meet a lot of the same people. Do you have your favorite chair? Do you sit with the same people all the time? Is there darts going on in the background? If there is, who determines who plays? I think it's going to be a magical place. Can you imagine going around there and all those magical beasts, those deer running all around the place? It would just be, to me, it sounds like a magical place to go. Small, you'd know everybody. Anyway, that's the island. I think that's fascinating. What else can I tell you? Well, I can tell you what they've said about their whiskey. They said about this whiskey here that to the taste, it's rich fruit and light smoke. And they said that to the nose, that it's spiced vanilla, citrus, and a spray of sea salt. That sounds really good. And the after notes to the taste are some cinnamon, pear, pecan, and toffee fudge. So I haven't tried it. We're going to go on this journey together. There I go again. So let's see. First thing you'll notice that it is an amber gold. I love the color. And it is 40% alcohol by volume. It is matured, according to them, matured in American oak ex-bourbon casks. That's going to give it some sweetness. Okay. Let's see. Let's give it a try. Okay. Yeah, looks nice on the glass. Let's check the legs. Yeah. Yep, some good sweetness to that. So, to the nose, definitely vanilla, and you can definitely get the salt. It's like an old Pulteney in that sense. I don't get citrus as much as I get apple, maybe pear, some of the more mulled or sweeter fruits. Yeah. Okay. To the taste. Yeah, definitely rich fruit. I would say date, raisin, slight burn to it, but not bad. A little bit of a burn. And when they say a hint of smoke, they mean it. There's very little smoke in this, just a tiny, tiny bit. You know, if you're going to get into drinking malts and at some point in time you want to start with having a malt with a bit of smoke in it, this would be a good place to start. Yeah, you guessed it, your journey. This would be a good place to start because it is not in your face at all. This is not heavy. It's very, almost not noticeable. Very good. So, I know what I told you the aftertaste was, but before we do that, I'm going to drop a bit of water in there. There's a saying that whiskey loves water. And the reason is that it opens it up. It lets it breathe. Not a lot. You don't want to drown it, but you do want to add a little bit. And we'll see how that changes things. First of all, in terms of the smoothness, much better. Very little burn to that now. The aftertaste, I could say why they say cinnamon and pecan. Now, if you ever had pralines, you know what pralines are, right? Pralines are when you take pecans and you chop them in half and you make up a mixture of butter and sugar and cinnamon, and then you pour it over, you cook them up in the oven, and you have pralines. Well, pralines are cinnamon and pecan, part of it, and that is almost got a praline taste to it. That's very nice. Now, as far as the toffee fudge, nah, I don't really get that. And as far as the pear, I don't get that either. But I will tell you that there is, to me, a very solid taste of vanilla on the back end as well. Some people might say that's the toffee, maybe. Better palates than mine, probably. So you notice that there was not an age statement on the bottle. That means that it probably is around 5 years aged. And I can hear many people that are saying, well, I'd like to have my single malts at least 10 years. So would I. But I can tell you that if I've got to tie my investment up for another 5 years, right, I want to be compensated. So this bottle is $54.19. You're not going to pay $54.19 if I have to tie my investment up for another 5 years. You wouldn't want it either, you know. Would you want to have your money tied up for 5 years and no compensation? So $54.19 gives you to me, a really good single malt. If you added 5 years to this, you're probably looking at about $79, $85. Yeah, I'll go with this. I don't mind adding a drop of water to it to open it up. It's a good, solid single malt Scotch. Very good, actually. So I think we've almost finished our journey. I'm just kind of wondering what's going on in your life this evening. What are you doing? You know, are you getting together with family and friends? Are you sitting back by yourself? What's the weather like where you are? I'd love to know. So if you don't mind, reach out to me this evening. Now, I'll tell you one thing I always do. I use a Glencairn glass for the testing, tasting all the notes. But when it comes to sitting back in the evening and having a wee dram, I want a good, solid glass. So I don't know what your feelings on that are, but it feels better in the hand. It just seems like it's treating the single malt with some dignity. That's just me. I just enjoyed that so much better. So here we are this evening. I hope you're having a great night. Get back to me and let me know. Slàinte, my friends. Cheers.